Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Musoma Augustine. If you are here for the first time, I really appreciate. Remember to like this video and also remember to subscribe. And if you are a returning subscriber, you are much appreciated for your continuous support. So this week, I came across one of the books which I've always been excited to find myself reading it. And I've been used to finding some soft copies of this book, which were kind of not exciting to read. The way the pages were arranged were not really motivating for an individual like me to read. So I used to ignore it. But I tried it like last week and I found one of the best copies in which the interaction between I and that book could have been much more exciting. So the book I'm talking about is Man's Search for Meaning. I'm a man, and I always thought that this book is really can give me one or two ideas on how to navigate this life, and probably I'm finding some exciting points which I need to think of. And this book is not about men, but it's all about human beings, and it's written by Viktor Frankl. I believe the last name I've pronounced it efficiently, or I have pronounced it nicely. So this individual, I need to give kind of a background information of Viktor Frankl. He was one of those individuals who were taken into concentration camps during the Nazi Germany. And this camp, the pronunciation of the camp is kind of really difficult me to pronounce, but if you know the name of the camp which Viktor Frankl was put into in the comment section, I need the name of that, and I'm going to search on YouTube on how that name is being pronounced. So as I've said, is the name of this individual is Viktor Frankl, and there's some of the ideas I've not finished reading these books, but some of those touching ideas or some of the key points which I've already gotten from this book is that no matter how situation is, even if it's so bad, human beings can turn that situation into something which is somehow not that bad, and which gives them hope that things are going to change. And human beings can easily adapt. That's some of the ideas which I learned from this book. And a good example is these individuals who were taken to these concentration camps were not ordinary people. Some of them used to be having good jobs, and once they were taken to these concentration camps, much of the possessions which they had were taken from them, and only what they remained with was hope and probably their bodies. And even that hope was kind of limited in a manner, because their colleagues were taken even to gas chambers where they were suffocated to death, and these individuals were told that there were some gas chambers from a distance. They could be shown those gas chambers, but at the end of the day, they really didn't lose hope. They had some hope. And from the same book, what I found was much of a difference between those individuals who had hope and those who had lost hope is that for those individuals who had the hope, they continue to struggle, they continue to find some meaning of their lives, even in those dire situations. But those individuals who had already lost the hope, they probably ended up dying, they probably gave up fighting, they probably had nothing to fight for. So we as human beings, once we find a greater cause which is bigger than us, then there is likelihood that we are going to fight, even if the situations are not conducive. We are going to find a reason why to fight once more, and that can in a way prolong our lives, and we find some meaning in those higher purposes which are bigger than what we are made of. So that's some of the ideas which I learned from Viktor Frankl. At the same time, not only my ideas which are so important, but you as an individual, if you have found yourself come across this book and you have read it, you need also to share what are some of your ideas which you derived from this book. Also, another key important issue which so far I've obtained from that book is this whole issue that we as human beings can decide how we want to make our situation to be. Even if we are in dire situations, we can decide either to amplify the problem which we are dealing with, or we can also try to minimize the problem which we are dealing with. A good example which you used to drive this point across is the whole issue of gas. It stated that, for instance, if you have, there's a gas which I ran in high school, which used to smell so nicely. Was it fluorine or I can't remember so clearly, but let's use ammonium, which is one of the most awkward gas. So if you have ammonium in a container, a small container, it will make sure that it distributes itself within that small container evenly. And at the same time, this same ammonium, if you put it in a huge container, it can also make sure that it has distributed itself in that huge container evenly. So that's also similar to those problems which we face. If we decide to minimize those problems, decide that they can be in a small part of our lives, we will also manage to have those problems being in a small part of our lives. But if we make those small problems, we make it, or we blow it into a huge part of our lives, that's a similar case which we are going to encounter. So we need to find means and ways which we are going to approach our lives, and how we are going to take the positives and negatives, and how we can ensure that those all ideas or those challenges we have in lives, probably we minimize them, and those challenges which or those privileges which we are enjoying in our lives, we should also make sure that we have amplified them such that we can find a good part of our lives is much more kind of celebrated instead of being kind of mourned and again. So that's what I wanted to share with you. So my name has been Musoma Augustine. If you have found some kind of a meaning out of this video, I would like you to like it. Remember to share, and also don't forget to subscribe. We need those numbers for the purpose of making a living out of it. Why should we lie that we don't want to make a passive income out of YouTube? I don't want to lie, but like this video for the purpose of the Orogal team. And see you in my next one. That's next week. Have the end of December. Let it be exciting. Wish you the best in 2024.